Alright, everyone, welcome to this month's session on spiritual questions answered with CordyKet. My name is Kat of CordyKet. Okay, just reminded me, it's good to. Alright, so just let me rename myself. Okay, so I'm Kat of CordyKet, and CordyKet is a partnership between my wife and I. My wife's name is Cordelia. Alright, Cordy for short, and I am Kat. So together we are known as CordyKet. You can Google us, you can find us on Facebook, on YouTube. Okay, this is a very brief introduction. If you've been following us, then you know who we are. And tonight we have a very interesting topic that people ask about, and I think it's time for me to just explain a little bit more. So the topic tonight is spirit guides or spiritual guides. So some of you would have heard of this term, right? Spirit guides or spiritual guides, and maybe many of you would have heard of it. And you're wondering, is it real? Yeah, so a lot of people think that, some people will think that, they've gone on around their lives, right? Maybe live decades, but they have never experienced spiritual guides. Yet there are people who talk about spirit guides or spiritual guides. So what is going on? Are they real? Are they there? And this was something I also pondered upon, right, long time ago before I embarked on this journey, right, into the energy and spiritual world, which are pretty much the same. Okay, so first of all, let me tell you all the answer straightforward is yes, spirit guides or spiritual guides are real. And I hope to share more about them so that you all will know more and maybe guide you all to connect with the right or the good spirit guides. Okay, now some of you, I don't know about you, but myself, alright, when I was a little kid, I grew up watching cartoons, right? Cartoons, and very interesting cartoons in those days was, maybe it was Walt Disney, Mickey Mouse, or something like that. They would depict that there would be a good angel and a bad devil by a person when they're thinking, right? I remember this scene for quite a long while, and then the good angel will be like, cartoon, they will draw the bubble thing, and then the angel will be telling the person to do good stuff, and then the devil or the bad spirit will be telling the person to do bad stuff. Now, that was the impression I had as a child watching these cartoons. And the interesting thing is that as I grew up and as I embarked on this journey, I discovered that is not far from the truth. Okay, so I'm just going to simplify things. All right, some people don't like things too simplified, or but I like to keep things simple. Okay, so the first thing I want to tell you is: are spirit guides real? Are they there? Yes, they are real and they are there. Okay, the the most important thing is, I think, for people to realize is there are those that are good, and there are spirit guides that are so-called bad. All right, I'm just simplifying things. Some people get very triggered by the terms. Okay, and if I were to generalize it further, so how do we define a good spirit guide, a bad spirit guide? I would like to talk about the definition. Okay, so in general, I think people would be able to agree that they will be of light. In general, they will be of dark, the bad spirits, yeah, obviously dark. But I always caution people to not take these two words literally. All right. So the main thing that defines them, okay, not so much as whether they look of light or they look dark, is of their the main thing, okay, I would say whether it's light or dark is to be their this is what defines whether something is good or bad. It has nothing to do with appearance. All right. The key point here will be values. What kind of values do these spirits live by? How do they conduct themselves? And it has nothing to do with appearance. So the general assumption, of course, is if you see light, some people do see spirits, right? And they can see invisible stuff. Some people are clairvoyant, all right? And if they see light, if the natural tendency is to assume they are good, and some people will see dark, and the natural tendency is to assume that they are not good. Now, for us who are trained in this method, we don't the central thing that we look for are the values. And while we agree that in general light is good, we are cautious because there can be, all right, in terms of light, it can be illusion light. That means dark entities creating an illusion to pretend that it's light. It can be of illusion, or it can be a false light, some kind of light that looks like light but it's false. It's not light. It means illusion. That means there's no real light. Okay, illusion, like there's no real light, and once the illusion is gone, it's dead. But there are some that can emit light, bad spirits. All right, but the light is not the true light. So I would qualify, okay, that if I were to talk about light, that is this true light thing. Okay. So not just literally that you experience light, it's not good enough now. A key central thing would be values. So now the first question is, before we even, so I mentioned, yes, they are real, and they are in general good spirit guides and bad spirit guides. So going back to the cartoon, so you have, the good spirits, the bad spirits. Now there are these spirits are everywhere, and some, all right, some are assigned or attached, all right. So typically, I would say those who are good spirits, they are assigned. Okay. Those that are bad spirits, I would use the term they are attached. So what's the difference between these two terms? Assigned means like rightfully they're meant to be there. All right, they're assigned by the source of light to the people. Now, attached is like they're not supposed to be there. Bad spirits are not supposed to be there. All right. So I'm going to talk about how can we try to sense them and how can we learn to differentiate them, because this is very important. I find that there are a lot of people who are psychics, who are energy sensitives, or who are born, they are mediums, they are channels, and they discover their innate, their inborn ability to connect with spirits, to converse with spirits, all right, and to be guided by spirits. The only thing is, I think most of us would do better if we understand who are the good spirit guides and how can we learn to differentiate the two. So this is going to be what I will talk mostly about tonight. Now, for those of you who can't see spirits, sense spirits and everything, the first question, of course, right, is, are they real? Yeah, and I've answered the question. Of course, my answer is yes. Then the next question is, a lot of people are going to ask this. Prove it, right? Proof. Now the proof is going to be very difficult. Arguably, there are a lot of proofs out there, like, the paranormal investigators, they can go around using certain spirits, for example, typically not the good side or the bad side, the lower vibration one, all right, you can actually catch them using infrared cameras, because some of these spirits happen to be, their vibration to be around the infrared frequency. All right, and using the night vision goggles or similar kind of thing. All right, so or even the CCTVs, infrared CCTVs, they can catch something. I have personally seen many of these in my work. All right, just that most of these recordings are of course belong to their respective owners. Okay, but the web is full of them. All right, usually you can see, like, in infrared it will look green, but for those whereby it's real, what you call it, normal camera plus infrared, the spirits can look smoky, and then they actually look dark. They actually look dark on the real CCTV screen. Okay, I've done cases whereby companies, they engage me after, in the CCTV, they can see all these shadows recordings, right? And then they engage me, and I will purposely do the work, in front of the CCTV. All right, in front of the CCTV, to cleanse the, the place of spirits, and they would tell me they see as I do. All right, dark shadows will swarm towards me because I will have to get all of them, and then I will send them off to light. So it's like I'll be surrounded. Dark shadows will come to me, and then after that, the dark shadows will all disappear. All right, they would have recordings of that, but I don't have. Okay, and of course, there's a very big debate over, people see in CCTV recordings, all right, orbs that are of light zipping by, all right, in orbs of light. And many people will argue that it is dust. And some people say, no, there's no draft or whatever. And there's so much arguments. And for some of us who are very energy sensitive, you can actually tell. And I have personally seen, all right, orbs of light. They are of the good spirits. I've seen one. Okay, the person said she will send me the recording, but she never did. But the client did a puja, a Buddhist puja, all right? Did a Buddhist puja, and there was amazing lotus, a light that turns out, as it became clearer and clearer, it was in the form of a lotus, all right? And lotus is very associated with Buddhism and Hinduism, yeah? And it flew around, and they took a video of it, because they were doing prayers, and after that, the spinning lotus of light disappeared. I have with myself, someone who went to India, all right, to do this on a, what do you call it, spiritual journey to see the Buddha's, the places where the Buddha went to when he was alive, all right, a pilgrimage, a Buddhist pilgrimage of sorts. And at a particular temple, after they did prayers, when she took the camera, it was full of all these orbs of light. And one of the orbs of light, when it was magnified, it looked like a mandala of light, and the energies. For those of you who are sensitive, this was way before the the smartphone era. I had it on a small Nokia phone. I remember, I think I saved it somewhere. It was a mandala of light, very beautiful, and the energies were all will meet this kind. All right, so the energies will be like light and pure, and you can actually sense good values coming from it. All right, like good values like love, kindness, compassion. The kind of energies were emanating from it, and for people who connect with these, these pictures or photos that were caught on video or photos, they can actually sense it, feel it, and even some people will cry or tear. So these are very real. Now, is that proof enough? Now, I always say this. For many people, especially in this age, whereby all this faking of videos by AI and everything is to a very high level, it's very difficult to prove. One thing, the greatest proof is when the person experiences it. Correct? Now, if you were to experience it, do you think you can deny your own experience? You won't deny your own experience. You will stand up for your own experience. But it's not easy to convince the world out there. So now, I talk about all these videos and photos that are out there. They're kind of a proof. Now, if you really want real proof, I would advise you this. Maybe, you can say it's a form of challenge. Try to experience it for yourself safely. Experience it for yourself safely. All right? Okay, don't get me wrong. If you want to experience it for yourself, please experience it safely. Now, first thing is, I do not encourage people to do the paranormal thing. Yeah, there are people who like to go to graveyards to try and experience this. Now, I don't advocate that, because you can catch spirits, and spirits will end up being attached to you, and they will become your bad spirit guides. All right. What I would like everyone to try and experience is to experience the good spirit guides that are supposed to be assigned to you. All right, because in general, most of us, our true nature is of light, is of good nature. Okay, most of us. There are conditions about all this, yeah? So the assumption is most of us are of light, of good nature, and we have assigned to us good spirit guides. Okay, I'm going to talk about how to differentiate them and how can a person try to experience it for themselves as a form of proof. Now, this proof is not easy, because you need to earn it. Let me put it this way. All right, the real proof, if you want to experience it, So you want it to experience, and you want it to be safe, experience safely. So the first condition for safely is you want to experience the good guys. All right, please don't go around to the cemetery and all that, because you can catch negative attachments. I do not recommend that. So this is what I recommend. Experience safely the good ones that's supposed to be assigned to you. Now, to experience it, you need to earn it. Unfortunately, like many things, if you want something, you need to earn it. Earn it. How do we earn this? First of all, you need to put in time. Second, you need to put in effort. Oh, but like everything else in the world, if you want something, you need to earn it, and to earn it, you need to invest some time and some effort to get some good things in life. Okay, now this is quite easy to experience for some people, but that is not a safe option. Now, and a lot of people will challenge whether the divine are real, the good spirits are real. Alright, let me tell you, if you want to experience them, you need to earn it. You need to put in time and effort. Alright, now, firstly, now when we talk about spirits, what are spirits? Spirits means they are a form of, let's define it, spirits. Spirits. What are they? Alright, so firstly, they're invisible and all that, yeah. So we classify them, I would say, alright, now, they are a form of energy. Yes? Invisible and all, right? Invisible, immaterial, not material form, alright? So the form of energy. Now, next point is also very important. Not only are they of energy, they are a form of consciousness. Alright? Some people like to use this term. Sentient. It means they are capable of independent conscious thought and decision making. Alright, so these are what spirits are. And if we want to experience them, since they are invisible and immaterial, I think, everyone should know by now that spirits, you can't see them, with your naked eye, your normal eyes. And you can't hear them with your physical ear. They don't respond to physical senses in general. Yeah, and they're immaterial. Now, are they there? Yes, they are there. But it will require us to put in time and effort because we need a certain degree to experience them. Alright, you will need a certain degree of a good term is quiet, alright, and the better term would be stillness. Alright, the term used is in general is stillness. You need to be of a certain degree of stillness, and of course you can use other terms. You need to have like peace. You need to be of a certain state before you can experience these type of things. Okay. Now, on top of that, now if we want to experience the good spirits, our own state of being, our own energies must be more aligned with this. Correct? Make sense? Of course, if you want to experience this, very easy. You just go to the dark side. You're angry or whatever. But the problem is when you're angry and you're not calm enough. You're not calm enough to experience something that is invisible, immaterial. That is that. But if you are of this type of energies, you will get such spirits attached to you, and they may end up being your spirit guides, guiding you to, in general, not so good things, because those that are on this divide, the values are not so good. So I classify them simplistically as bad. Okay? But if your energy, your state of being, your character is more towards this side, then spirit guides that will be with you are more likely to be those that are assigned to you and they're of light, of goodness. Okay, so when we talk about this, you probably know what Okay, but if you want to achieve this, a good method, right, would be meditation. Right? You want to achieve this, all right, you need to do meditation. Okay, now for us, we don't talk about just normal meditation. And those of you who know us, we have our core practices. Right? One of our core practices is light meditation. All right, so we want to do a form of meditation which is light meditation, which is aligned with this. So if you do a meditation that's aligned with this, all right, then it's easier to achieve this and also the energies that are of this in order for us to experience the spirit guides that are of good. Make sense? Very simple logic. All right. So, I don't think we can cover the light meditation, but those of you, if you know us, all right, every month we have a light meditation online session, all right, that you can join live. Okay, you can learn and you can do this. Okay, it's very simple. It's light meditation. All right, we teach you how to meditate to generate qualities like this, and if you put in enough time and effort, and eventually reach a degree of quiet, stillness, peaceful state that's aligned with this, then it is very possible you can experience it yourself, and then that will be your proof. It will be so undeniable that it exists because you experience it yourself, right? But you need to earn it. You need to put in the time and effort. And there are many people out there who are trying to debunk it and everything. Why is it that they can't experience it? It's very simple, because they do not earn it. They didn't put in the time and effort. And it's very easy to acquire this, and they can't even experience this because even if you want to experience the dark side, it's easy to be of these energies. Because to be of this, more of these type of energies, you need to put in more time and effort, yeah? To be this, you don't need to put in as much time and effort, but to still experience it, you still need a degree of quiet and stillness. Yes, because the spirit is essentially an invisible, immaterial, yeah. They may have energy, and it's like you're trying to experience air. How can you experience air? Yes, you can experience in your breathing, and if you're really silent enough, you can. You pay attention to your breathing through your breath. Right? Okay? So this is how you can experience it. So I will just give a very short methodology about the light meditation. Okay, but if you want to experience it, okay, the best is you attend our online session. Our online session is free. Okay, and if you're happy with it, you can make a donation to support our online events. Okay, so now in this light meditation, essentially we teach people to shine, all right, light that meets this criteria. All right, that meets this criteria. Okay, and when you can do that, you will be able to experience it. Okay, so let's see. Let me take a look at the time. I'll try to finish what I have to say about all this, and then let's try to cover it towards the end of this sharing. Now, I'm also going to talk about this. Now, there are many people who experience spirits already. Okay, they can talk to spirits. And the only thing is they are not sure how to differentiate it. Yes, and let me tell this story again. So I've told this story before, I believe. I'm gonna repeat it. So there was this encounter very early in my spiritual journey. I encountered this man at a Buddhist temple. Okay, so I was browsing the Buddhist books at the Buddhist temple, and this man came up to me. All right, so he came up to me and he talked to me, and so he's a Chinese man. Okay, I'm ethnic Chinese, in case you don't know. All right, we are based in Malaysia. We are a multicultural, multiracial society, multi-religious society too. All right. So this man came up to me as he saw me browsing the books, and he told me this. He kind of like, side up to me and he whispered, "Don't believe in all these books. These books are lying. They're not really telling the truth." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he said this to me. Now I cannot remember the exact. Roughly, this is what he said to me. He said, "These books are lying. Buddha is not Indian." He said, "Buddha is Chinese. Buddha is not Indian." And I'm like, okay, so this guy looks so serious, right? And I asked him, "How do you know?" And he said, "The spirits tell me." So what do you think? I think historically, the evidence is undeniable that Buddha is an Indian. They've got, so many tellings and records of people going to India to get the teachings of the Buddha, blah, blah, blah. I think it's pretty clear, all right, that Buddha originated from India. Now, what he may not understand is, he obviously thinks he has spirit guides, and he is listening to his spirit guides. But do you think the spirit guides are this or this? I would think more towards this, because they are not according to the value of truth, not of light. Okay? And other people, and another interesting one, was a lady. She became psychic after buying crystals from me, and then she started talking to spirits. All right. And now the thing is this: so you can acquire the ability to have you can acquire the ability to be able to communicate with spirits, or you can learn to develop it, or you may have the genetic predisposition or advantage, all right, that you are gifted to do that. Whichever way you acquire, you can acquire it. The way you acquire, you enter this realm of spirits, and those are good, those are bad, and they're supposed. Now, not many people know enough that they are supposed to be good spirits assigned to them, and not people know enough that there are bad spirits out there. There are bad spirits that appear as light in the form of illusion, or they can be emitting light, but the light is not of true light. And depending on who you are and what kind of person you are and which side you tend to go to, you may find yourself having attachments of spirits that are not of light, that are, simplistically saying that they are bad. So we have to be very careful about this. So one lady, okay, so she bought a crystal. After that, she acquired the crystal, helped power her up and then awaken her ability. And she started having all these spiritual experiences, by herself. And I know she became like very psychic. And I didn't hear for her for quite a few years. And after a while, she contacted me again, and we chatted. And she found out that I'm doing all this spiritual work, and she wanted to connect with me and talk about her spiritual experiences. And then, as we talk about the things that we kind of knew in common about the spirit world, yeah, something came out that was a little bit off, or actually I would say very off. So as we told her, and she said this thing, hey, do you know? Because we were going about, she's like, do you know this? Do you know that? I said, yeah, I know about this because, I do all this spiritual work. And then came this bomb, right? She came up, it was on WhatsApp, okay? It was on WhatsApp. And she like, hey, do you know this? Buddha is dead. Actually, I remember the scene, yeah? I remember this moment. Excuse me, I was in toilet, okay? I was doing my own business when she messaged me and like, okay, I'll just sit and reply her. And she said this, Buddha is dead. I'm like, okay. I was thinking, how do I reply this? Yeah, because I'm quite sure I experienced the Buddha, all right? So I asked her, how do you know this? What makes you say this? Something to the effect. And she said, there was a war in heaven. The bad guys, the bad spirits, invaded heaven. They attacked. They laid siege to heaven. They went inside and they killed some of the divine. And Buddha was one of the divine that was killed. I'm like, oh, okay. And I think very soon after I ended the conversation. After all, I can't sit in the toilet for long, right? So now, of course, she may be inclined to believe that, and of course, when I asked her how she knew, she said, again, her spirit guides told her, or the divine or whatever spirits that are with her told her that, that Buddha is dead. So, okay, I didn't exactly tell her that I don't agree because I think that was like, an exclamation mark, like, okay, Kat, you need to stop talking to this person, all right, or you need to try to end it. And some people don't like it if I were to. Some people don't like it when you disagree with them, right? So now, to me, what happened is simply, again, she has guides with her, all right, but the guides are not exactly of light, and they are just telling her some fancy story, okay? So now so that's why, and she was someone who was very clairvoyant, and she could see spirits and all. And I would like to bring to attention that, it is not enough that you are clairvoyant and you can see. And many people ask me, about my own abilities, and I can generally tell them I'm not very clairvoyant. All right, I'm not very clairvoyant. But I have used my other psychic abilities. I train such that I'm able to do this. Okay, to differentiate and to know who the good ones are. So now, when we talk about all these spirit guides, okay, so they're all of these qualities, and they all, okay, let's find out more about them so that we can connect to them. Now, they all come from they will all have a source, right? And simplistically speaking, the source is of light. They all come from the source of light. Now, it is very interesting. It's very, very interesting in my experience. All right. Now, this same source of light, all right, is where the spirits that are of light come from. And this same source of light is the source that gives us the light that we can experience in light meditation. This we have verified, and if you follow us, all right, and if you practice with us, you will discover this to be true. Now, and this source of light, now if you come up with the spirits of light, now these spirits of light will come from religions or or shall I say, spiritual traditions that are of light. And within this religion and spiritual traditions of light, right, you would have the practices, right? The practices. So practices such as, for example, mantras, prayers, um, you know, certain rituals. Certain rituals, I hesitate to put this here, but some do qualify. I don't want people to become very ritualistic, okay? But my main focus would be this, okay? Mantras and prayers. Now, this is something that's very interesting because across our history of mankind, right, many people who experience the spirits, they come from different religions or spiritual traditions. And, generally we shall assume them to be of light. Yes? And of course, their experiences, the history, everything eventually created religion. The only thing is, of course, religion end up, because there are humans involved, there'll be politics, and the human institution is less than perfect. That would be an understatement. Yeah, the human institutions of all these religions, but these spirits, the teachings, they all came, I would say, from the source of light. All right, they're essentially pure, and they all espouse good values. Good values. Dun, 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 dun. It's very pure. Humans may taint it, but the original source, the teachings and all that, the traditions, the prayers, the mantras, they're all of light. Now, so what we discover is this. So when we teach people this light meditation, so we have this light that comes from the source of light. And if we learn to do this light meditation, which is actually very simple, okay. Now, the idea is when you familiarize yourself by doing light meditation, you familiarize, the key is this, you familiarize yourself with light, then, of course, you're not just familiar, you will be developing quiet, stillness, peace, okay? And then you'll be familiarizing yourself with this, and you will also know, all right, that it does not matter which religion or spiritual tradition that it is, and you will be able to tell whether it comes from the same source, because the light that you experience in meditation, which we are all or most of us are supposed to have, it comes from the same source and it vibrates and it responds. So what I'm saying is this: now if you do light meditation, and because everything of this is of the same source, similar signature, not exactly the same, similar, because they all come from the same source, right? You will realize that when you pray or chant mantras of religions of light, your meditation will get stronger. Your light will get stronger. And it is, for me, it is a very beautiful message. It tells me that it doesn't matter, my friends and family, of which religious faith or inclinations they are, as long as it is of light, because there are those that are deviant. Because if you learn to familiarize yourself with light, you will recognize when it is not of light. And I always say this. Now, if you are of light, you will be like this. Patch of whiteboard over here. Alright, maybe I should stand here. Alright, you'll be like this patch of whiteboard over here. Quite white, right? Light. Now, if you are light enough, right, anything that is not of light, even if it's of color, even if it's dark, can you see? immediately you will be able to tell. Again, the only thing is this. You need to learn. You need to put in time and effort. I would like to repeat this message because there are many people who want it. They want to experience. They want to experience it. They want proof, but they just want, and they're not willing to earn it. But I'm telling you this: if you really want it, you have to earn it. There is no other way. You want your driving lesson, your driving license, sorry. If you want your driving license, you need to go for driving lessons, right? If you want to ride a bicycle or ride a motorbike, a motorcycle or an e-bike or whatever, you need to earn it. You need to put in the time and effort. If you want to learn to read and write, how many hours have you put in since as a child before you're able to write on a piece of paper or on a board letters and words properly? You would have done it by now, hundreds of thousands of times. Correct? We all need to earn it. Make no mistake. And I'm here to make sure everyone gets this, because there are many people who want it but they are not willing to earn it. And I'm sorry, okay? Even you want to experience this side, you need to earn it with certain degree of quiet and stillness. Even if you cannot generate energy that is like this. But I am presenting to you a way that you can do this, but safely, because you're going to experience those that are good. Now, there are other types of guys that have been popping up recently. Okay. Now, some people are not going to be happy. This is very sensitive stuff. Yeah. Now, the most difficult part is to deal with all these. Now, there are people who are in contact with spirits that are of this illusion, light, false light. And these spirits also, okay, they, I will use this, they preach good. No offense to the profession preacher, but the what I'm trying to say is, you know, there are entities out there that are pretending to be good. So they pretend, they masquerade. As good, and they preach good. Now, preaching is easy. Is there anyone here who doesn't know how to preach good or tell people what is good and how to do things that are good? I'm sure you know what is good, and you can tell people, you know, you should do this, you should do that. But there are many of us who know how to preach, but we may not be able to walk the talk. Correct? It's easy to preach, to say, to tell others to do that. But maybe, you know, in some cases, in many cases, we're not able to live up to what we preach. Correct? Now, the same thing for entities that are pretending to be good. They pretend to be good, they can emit, they can create illusions of light, or they can emit light that is not of the true light. Now, true light means it comes from the source of light. Okay? It comes from the source of light. And the only way you can actually know it is for us, is to learn. It's very simple. For our method is we learn light meditation. The traditional method would be those of spiritual and religions of light. Okay, they practice, they do the practices, and they also can familiarize themselves with what is of light, and they can tell what is of dark. Just that these guys are really tough, yeah, that they are quite advanced. Usually they are very advanced beings. Advanced, I would call them in general, So let me use a EV color. Okay, I will call them advanced sinister beings. Means they are very high level. I call them sinister because they may appear to be light. I don't call them dark beings because they appear to be light. But the main thing is they are sinister. That means their intentions are not good. All right, the intentions are not good. So, and this would include, okay, there's now this is very popular. Okay, and again, yeah, this may be triggering to some of you. You have to be careful when there are beings who claim themselves to come from beyond Earth, that they are galactics or they come from a different galaxy or a different star, and they're here to teach, to guide you to be good. Now, for those of us who train to recognize true light, I will tell you a lot of these spirits, they fall under this category. And it is kind of difficult to tell unless you have the training. And for us, our training is very simple. We go by the traditions of mantras and prayers, but of course, it's not very, mantras and prayers and religions are out of fashion. So we have this light meditation, but if you do light meditation, it is aligned with the traditional and the religions of light. What are tradition and religions of light? The main religions of light generally, okay? They're there, whether it's Christianity, Judaism, Islam. Yes, Islam is of light, all right? Hinduism, yes, Hinduism is light. Buddhism, Taoism, all right? But within all these religions of light, there will be entities and cults and sects that claim to be of good, but they are not good, and they have spirits that are like this. Okay, so you need to be very careful. Okay, so this is the main message, and I see many of you have questions, so we may take a little while, and let's see whether I can have time to talk more. If not, I will just direct everyone. Okay, we will have light meditation classes. Normally, you can look at our schedules, and maybe on these days, there'll be more on this. Now, everyone is asking a question. Spirit exists out of Earth as well, like on Moon, Sun. To see spirit, normally CCTV see shadow image. If plus infrared, we'll see better resolution, the size, the color. Now, there are many kinds of spirits. Okay, I just like to keep it simple because there are many people who ask me questions like, what did they look like? And there are different religions, different traditions, different beliefs. Now, I just like to keep it simple. All right, can we keep it simple? Insofar as I'm concerned, because now, spirits, they are energy form, all right? So they're not fixed in the way they look. They can actually change form, change their appearance to those of you who can see. So I do not recommend, I highly do not recommend people to go to judge the spirit by the way it looks. Don't judge a book by its cover, seriously. Okay? The only thing we are concerned is this: are they good or are they bad? What are their intentions? And are they in general of light or not of light? That is the only thing I'm concerned with. I just like to keep it very simple. And if you understand this, then we will have methodology, we have practices, whether it is so we have our practices, unity, qigong, light meditation, non-attachment meditation, that helps you familiarize yourself with these energies. So, sorry, I missed one point. Spirits that are of this side, they tend to be of non-attachment. Okay, so those on this side, they will attach themselves to people, and they are very attachy. They are of high degree of attachment in general. All right, and they will cause people to be more attached to things. All right, to be more attached to things, not willing to let go of maybe certain ideas, ideals, principles. But those on the good side, they are of non-attachment, and they are of non-attachment even to good. That means they will do good without being attached to good. That is not necessary to be good, but you just choose to be good, kind of thing. That means they are not fixated, you know. Whereas you have on this side, for example, that this side, the dark, bad side, they can appear to be good, and they will be very attached to good. Like, for example, a good person, they will say, for example, a good person. I'm trying to think of something not so sensitive. A good person. A good person must stay married and not divorced. For example, sensitive. I try not to be so sensitive. You get what I mean? So maybe a certain text, will say that, or certain belief is that people who are married should stay married and they shouldn't be divorced. Okay, and under the context of religion or spiritual tradition. And they will be so attached to it that they are willing to inflict pain, negativity on people who go against their attachment to concept of what is good. But those that are on this side, they will not do it because they will be of values of kindness, compassion, and of non-attachment. They are not attached, all right, but they will be doing good, and they will do everything in accordance with a good way, in a very flexible way, all right. Not here will be very attached, very rigid. Okay, so non-attachment is a key concept of light, because when we take a look at values, sorry, I'm maybe overshooting here my time. Now, values. How can you define a value as one value as higher and one value as lower? Okay, a very simple idea is love. And we take love. Love, you have high love, you have low love. Correct? What is the highest love? The highest love is unconditional love. Correct? Does everybody agree? Everybody here knows love, the highest love is unconditional love. But what exactly is unconditional love? And of course, you have the low love, which means is very, 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 very conditional love. Jeez, I shouldn't even write this in red. Red is trying to represent good. Very, 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 very conditional. The kind of love like you give me sex, I give you money. Trade, not love. No. Unconditional love is essentially love with no attachments, no strings attached, correct? Simple. No strings attached. So, in order for us to recognize which spirits are higher in goodness, that means they will be of values that are of less attachment, less conditions. Just the same way as love goes higher when it has less conditions. A very simple idea. Yes. So if you understand that, all right, and this is why for us when we teach our core practices, we have unity qigong, we have light meditation, and non-attachment meditation to get people to familiarize themselves with these energies. These energies are all good energies that will help us. Okay, it's good for our health, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Okay, so sorry, let me go back to the questions. Coral is saying, yeah, it's hard to explain my experiences to people, and it's not like I have any rationale for them. Most were when I was a young child. And Edwin, again, when spirit around, the temperature will drop by a few up to 10 degrees Celsius. Now that would sometimes is associated more with this, okay? For the paranormal investigators, that's why they go around with thermometers. But actually, for the spirits of light, so those that are here in general, they're more dense and easier to feel. Like try not to put that because those that are advanced, they don't feel that way. They actually feel very light, very undense. Okay, but for those people who are associated with the conventional dark, like demonic or very dark entities, literally dark, the energies are dense. Those that are literally dark, all right, they will be very dense. But there can be those that are of the feeling, the sense of it is not dense, okay? But that's why the key definition here is of values, whether they are good or bad. You know, the only key thing is they may be pretending to be good or they may be preaching good. Yeah. So that is in response to Evan saying that there's a temperature drop. Yeah, so it tend to be like that. And if there are spirits of this side, they will tend to be very non-attached, very fine, and you need to experience that. You need to put in more time and effort because they're actually harder to sense. Okay. Now, Evan is asking, can chanting mantra activate the good spirit guide to oneself? Yes. So those of you who are familiar with mantras, a lot of mantras are associated with the spirits that they are associated with, right? For example, if you know, there are two very famous Buddhism mantras, Namo Amitabha, or in Chinese, Namo Amitofo. So if you know Amitabha or Amitofo in Chinese, is referring to the Buddha of infinite light. All right, and this mantra calls the Buddha of infinite light are called Amitabha. The other very famous Buddhist mantra is Om Mani Padme Hum. And Om Mani Padme Hum is associated with the divine called Guan Yin, Goddess of Mercy, or Avalokitesvara. All right, so these, when you chant the mantras, they will call upon the divine that are associated with them. But not all mantras are associated with divine. For example, can't remember, Om Bo Bova Swaha, that one is associated with the sun. Okay, so it doesn't really call a divine. What do the spirit feed on? Prayer, joss stick, incense. The spirit got smell, can be no smell. Can we hear whisper of spirit? Now, those spirits, so essentially spirits are energy. So they feed on energy, but only those that are of the dark side need to feed. Okay? Now, if you're of the good side, now good values energies is special, extraordinary. Energies that are of good, they can just grow stronger and stronger. Those that are on this side, they don't need to feed. Because, for example, love is an energy that comes forth and give and give and give. If you have experienced love or you're in a loving state, you will notice that your heart is open and you're like flowing with love, and the love is coming, coming, coming. Yes? Have you felt that before? Or have you felt that from someone that's of love, very high level of love? The energy is like that because that is the very nature of energy. The very nature of light energies is it just comes forth like as if from nowhere. It can generate itself, perpetuate itself. Good things are like that. But the dark side, the not good side, it shrinks. It shrinks because it destroys and feeds on itself, and it needs to feed on others. All right, that is the nature of not so good energies. But the nature of good is expansion. All right, expansion and glowing and bright. That is the difference. So those that need to feed, not of the good side. Can they smell? Yes. Can you smell spirits? Yes. All right. So for people who have psychic senses, you can experience. So you can see them, but not usually not with the physical eye. You can hear them, but not with your physical ears. All right. So there's some energy anatomy that will interact with your brain and to pass a signal to you that you're experiencing this type of stuff that you can smell, taste, hear, see, feel. Okay. So yeah, not all those joss stick incense. Those are not important. Okay, those are not important at all. Ellie is asking, is the easiest way to connect with spirit is by meditation, especially with the good spirit. Now yeah, I mentioned, yeah. So you need to earn it. You need to have a degree of stillness and quiet before you can experience something that is so invisible and immaterial. Again, Edwin, it's the only way now to determine whether the spirit in front of us is good or bad is by looking at the energy emitted by the spirit. Okay, so I've clarified that it's not by looking, all right, because they can be illusion light, false light. You need to familiarize yourself with what is known as true light, which is actually light that comes from the source of light, and it should be in most of us or all of us, practically all of us. And this same light, it has the same common factor in the religions of or spiritual traditions of light, including the mantras and prayers. This is how we recognize them. And this and the it tells a very good story that it doesn't matter which religion of light you practice, that you follow. All right, we are all brothers in light. We're all brothers. We're all family, brothers and sisters of light, because we all come from the same source of light. Yeah, no need to fight one another over religion, especially. If you just practice good, be not very attached. Don't be rigid in light, because that all belongs to the side that is not good. Chris is asking, is our own higher self a spirit guide? Well, you can loosely say that our higher self is a spirit guide. I actually do have more technical. For those of you who, I actually have a program, right, in Infinity Healing. If you're interested, we're actually starting a new batch this month. Okay, those of you watching this as a recording are probably too late, but every year I have a new intake, right? And I try to teach a group of people, okay, every year, take them through different modules, all right? It's the same program, all right, to train the abilities to help people to heal, to know more about energies and spirits, okay? Now, and if you're on this path, of course, there'll be more technical details, but what we can cover in our spiritual questions answered is a bit more general, but I think it does help a lot of people understand these type of things. Hey, Lynn. You say thank you, have a few questions. Are they neutral spirits, neither good or bad? That's a very good question. Now, it is very, very interesting. So, now, insofar as I like to preach, okay, and to keep things simple, I like to help people. First of all, train. Now, first of all we want to train people, and we want people to learn how to train and to recognize. So the most safe way, all right, is to train this way. You learn what is of light, then you know what is of light, not of light. Correct? So you'll be like a whiteboard, yeah, like this. Now, of course, there are those that may be in the band that is neutral, but I will tell you this: the band that is in the neutral, it is a very small band. Now, because those that are truly good, that means they have no price. That means if they help you, there is no price. Those that are like this, they're bad. They are actually, they want something because they are of energy. All right, they actually want energy from you. They need to feed. They want energy from you. Now, this is something that is very sensitive. What do they want? They want energy from you. Now, for those of you who follow me, all right, like my classes, my talks. Now, we have three different types of energies in the human body. Yes, we have life force, we have chi, and we have what the Indians call prana. which is actually light. This very same light that we talk about. Now, the thing is this. Of these three types of energies that the humans have, okay, which is the most precious? Light. Why? Because it comes from, now imagine if you want to talk about power, ability, this, right? This is arguably the most powerful energy, consciousness in the universe. Most powerful. And the light comes from the source of light. Now, these bad entities, don't you think they want energy and they want power? So they will want to take, yes, they can take all this, but the most coveted energy that they want is this. And that's why I say, for those people who have experiences with the bad spirits, their light is very weak. By default, 100% of cases, the light is very weak because in order for the entities to affect people, they go past the light and also they want to take the light or they corrupt it and take it. Okay? So, we're talking about this good, bad, and neutral, yeah? So now the thing is this. Neutral ones are those that maybe, they're not as greedy as here, but they are still self-serving. So those that are of light, truly light, work for the source of light, come and work for the source of light. They would be of really love, of wanting to do good, of making the world, the universe a better place. Making a true difference in accordance with goodness, in accordance with non-attachment, in accordance with values of goodness and purity and all. But those that are neutral, neutral is very subjective, yeah. But most of these that are here, they tend to be self-serving. That means they take care of their own interests. But and it's very easy to cross over from self-serving or just self-preservation to the other side, because in the name of preserving self, if you don't practice this, then you cannot generate energies that are always flowing and emanating freely. Then you may want to take, and it's very easy to cross the line from here to here. So the ones that are neutral is a very, very narrow bandwidth, very narrow bandwidth. Okay, so it's so narrow that I tell you to focus on this. Okay. Are the sinister beings, again, it's still linear, are the sinister spirits, middle world spirits? Someone told me that we should never work with middle world spirits in the context of shamanism that they are learning. Yeah. Now, there will be different traditions that will talk about their understanding, and I just put it very simple. Okay, now there are people who, now I can, how to define what is middle world? So when you use the term middle world, how do you define? So, people would say higher, middle, lower. Middle may be the human realm. Now, in general, human realm, even in this very same space that we occupy as humans, this so-called physical space, is interwoven, there's overlaps and stacking of energies and dimensions and planes of existence of different vibrations, different frequencies. That means in the very same space, there can be different dimensions, different entities of different vibrations, different planes of existence, but same physical space. Okay? And if you want to say higher, lower, then we define it by vibrations. Okay, in general, I would define it by vibrations. But some people would define it by direction, but I don't quite agree. It sort of has a certain direction that, yes, higher vibration, you tend to feel like it's going up with respect to our body, and lower vibration goes down. It's kind of like a reference, but I will maintain, okay, that is easier to define by the quality of the energy, and the lighter it is, the higher it is, it will be of higher non-attachment. So trying to explain it, you want to understand it from this paradigm is actually better. Of values and non-attachment is actually better than talking about these directions, up, down, left, right, higher, lower, middle, okay? So values and light and understanding. Now, if you understand this, all right, this will hold true no matter, and it will fit in with whichever spiritual tradition now. So if I were to meet with different shamans of different paradigms, different understanding of their, because each tradition will have their own different understanding, not necessarily about right or wrong, or their interpretation is like kind of blind man and the elephant, yeah? Their interpretation of the spirit world. And they will be right in their own way, because it's like the blind man with the elephant, you can't argue, right? Because if they're holding the elephant tail, if they say it's like that, yeah, it's like that, but it's just part of it, okay? So this, I would say, is something that is I think is more clearly and safely defined, isn't it? Because if you understand this, then it's more about values and goodness. And if you want to talk about connecting with spirits, you want to connect with a good spirit, it's not about whether it's upper or lower, higher, middle. You get what I mean? It's not about directions. You want it to be safe, and the main criteria you want is whether they are of good values. Some friends learning shamanism and say they are beginning to work with good spirits. Is this the case? Well, I don't know your friends. Okay. Coral is saying, Cat advice on navigating friends, families that have experienced loved ones dying. I have a friend who continues to let me know her beloved continues to send her signs, and because of this, she is attracting negative energies and consequently has negative experiences. Okay. So first of all, when we are navigating friends and families, we have to ascertain whether we are the right person to pass on the message. So I'm the first one to admit that for me, not everyone in my family believes in the work that I do, right? They find it very hard to believe, very hard. And I will not be the right person to convince them of what I know, because our friends and family will have their own idea of us, and which is usually based on the past. The thing is, I'm no longer the past me. I'm a totally different me. But when people remember me, they remember me. Our parents will always see us as a kid or as a baby, even, right? So we may not be the right person to convince our parents or siblings, because siblings will remember us as that brother or sister who was not all the while nice or whatever. Okay, so we have to first of all make such we have to weigh the situation first. Okay, now if they know you, they trust you, then you can be that one, and then you can share. Okay. Now, Lynn is asking a direct question: is the mantra Om Gam Ganapate Namaha a mantra of light? Yes, it is. So that is the mantra of Ganesha, the elephant god of Hinduism, which also have different forms in Buddhism. In Buddhism, he also appears in Buddhism, especially Tibetan Buddhism. Evan is asking, can we hear whisper of spirit? And Evan is saying, the dark spirit once whispered, "Who are you?" to my friend. Yeah, of course. Yeah, you can hear, like I was saying. Yeah, for all the physical senses that we have, in general, we have psychic equivalent. That means the equivalent of psychic, like we have a sense of sight, and we have clairvoyance, which is psychic seeing. So we have sense of smell, and there'll be this term clair-olfactory, which is psychic smelling. So there's psychic tasting and all this. So there's equivalent. Yeah. Again, Edwin, sorry, Cap. Until one day the scanner of dark good light machine device is it currently only by light meditation can differentiate light or dark spirit. Now, I will say this, I don't think there will ever be a machine that can actually do this. I don't think so. I seriously don't think so. Because the machine has no light. Light is something that's inherent in those of us who are alive, born of light, and the machine will not have it. Okay, and the machine, and machines, unless it has AI, right? Machines are normally dead, and spirits are conscious. Now, in this world, there are many spirits that are not good, that are affecting machines that people use. They affect the machines so that the machines affect the people that use them. So even if humans invent a machine, how can we invent a machine and make sure the machine cannot be tainted by spirits? Because the spirits can affect the energies in the machine. So in order to do that, you need people who are trained in this to be able to protect or to test such machines which test other people, correct? You cannot just assume the machine can do it, because you need, first of all, a person who is skilled in this in order to try and create something like that. But then after you create the machine, it's like dead. It doesn't mean that spirits, it's like spirits can possess people, spirits can possess machine, or they can attach machine, or they can put their energies onto machines. This is the world, spirit world works like that. Yes. Okay, so I don't encourage machines. The best way is this. I would recommend this. Now, not necessarily I would like meditation, but what I'm trying to say is this. You see, they all come from the same source of light, and that is why, the sages, all the religious, spiritual people who meditate, who do prayers and everything, they have all these experiences, and they have, right, the abilities of light. They can talk to spirits, and they can deal with the evil spirits. They can help people do exorcism and so on and so forth, right? It's not just us. There are many people, and normally they come from this, right? Religious traditions or spiritual traditions. Yeah? And it is all valid. Whether it's our light meditation, which teaches people to strengthen the light that is within all of us, or most of us, okay? Because some people end up being possessed, they don't have the light, okay? So, it doesn't matter, okay? I'm not necessarily promoting just us, okay? I'm trying to share with you all, it's the same. The source of light is good, it's pure, all right? And towards less and less attachment. Edwin is asking, is connecting with deceased spirit to ask question to deceased via medium not good and advisable? All right, so Edwin, I've covered this question in a different video. I remember, I think you attended that question we're talking about, connecting with spirits, how to tell whether spirits are good or bad. Yeah, and so this is essentially something like that, but we want to talk about this. But I'm sorry, I'm really overshooting, so we're not done yet. Well, the difference is going to be this. Now, I'm going to talk about this attachment here. Okay, so we talk about how to recognize the good spirits. Yeah, so you got to train the light meditation. Now, essentially, the light meditation, I try to do a very quick one. Okay, so what we need to do is there's a specific instruction, but please attend the class. You need to tell yourself to shine the pure light of goodness. Pure light of goodness from your heart, physical heart. All right. So ideally, you sit in meditation. All right, sit in meditation. Your heart. So shine the light, and we want the light to, right? You shine light, it gets bigger, brighter, and until like 10 meters. If you can, 10 meters. Shine pure light of goodness from your heart. Now, when you're within these 10 meters, and if you do it enough, or you familiarize yourself, and then it's easier to connect with light. All right. So, and those will be the ones that are assigned to you. Assigned by who? By the source of light. Okay. Now, the bad spirits. So they attach to you. Where do they attach? How do they attach? Okay, and some of you will experience it. Okay, so pay attention. Now, this is provided that you can tell when so if you're originally more of light and suddenly you encounter some spirits, some bad spirits, and they attach themselves to you and they want to be actually your spirit guide, but the bad kind. That means they will stay by you and then they will whisper in your ear or send subliminal messages to your brain mind, give you thoughts and ideas to do things that are not so good. Okay, now the places where they attach are usually this. Okay, so first of all, they will attach to your head to give you ideas. So a lot of people, you will get it in your third eye. All right, you will feel heavy here. All right, so here, the crown chakra, towards the back, up here, your temples. All right, so they attach. So they send kind of like cords, energy lines and cords. They pop here, here. So it may be one or more. Okay, so the head is here, and then a dangerous one is here. Okay, attachment here. That is a dangerous one. Now another one that will happen. Now some of you will notice this. Now some of you will have gastric that may be of a spiritual or energy nature, especially after you go to a place that like hospitals, dirty, or there's some attachment. Now a lot of them, they like to attach here. So for the ladies, it's around the bra strap front area. Okay, you feel hard like this. Some of you will feel it very distinctly. Okay, so this is where one of the points where they connect and they take your chi. All right, and where they try to control your willpower. They'll try to make you have weak willpower to fight them or to give up or to be angry, because everything is here. The anger or to give up is controlled here, and quick energy is also here. So one of this is here. So that is one of the attachments that they do. Okay, so watch out for that and remember this. Okay, who you are as a person. Okay, whether you yourself tend to be more of qualities of this or of this will determine whether the spirits that come to you to give you guidance, to influence you in your life, will be whether they are of good or bad, light or dark. Ultimately depends on your own state, your own character. All right, and you may need to put in effort and time too to work on yourself, to be a nicer person, to be less attached, to be kinder. Some of these things do need effort. We do need reminders. And in our practice of light meditation, it is also that, because we don't just shine pure light of goodness. We remind ourselves as we're shining our pure light of goodness, the values that we want to be of. A reminder every time we do light meditation that we want to be kind, be loving. You choose. You remind yourself, and you will be of these energies. And then you find that those spirits that are with you will be like this, and your life will be smoother. Your actions will be guided by goodness. Because you are good, the spirits that are with you, who guide you, who give you ideas and thoughts, will be all good. Okay? So I'm sorry I overshot a lot, but I hope everyone learned something here. Thank you for your time, and if you're interested, tomorrow we have a class on Unity Qigong, which is one of our practices that does help you generate energies that are positive and help you be more aligned with spirits that are of light. Okay? Thank you, everyone. I hope to see you all again. Have a good day, good night, and goodbye.